Assalamu alaikum students. So far we have studied the development of male reproductive system, the development of testes and the development of male genital ducts. In the development of testes we have studied that the testes develop from urogenital ridge, the genital ridge, the part of the intermediate mesoderm, and in this ridge three components of this ridge form the adult testes. Now this testes develop at the lumbar region. Now descent of the testes, it is important because the spermatogenesis, the process of spermatogenesis cannot occur properly at the body temperature. So these testes must be removed from their original position and to the outside of the body in the scrotum. So in the embryonic fetal life, the testes descend from its original position, that is 10th thoracic vertebra, to their final location in the scrotum. Now what happens early in the 7th week, a structure, a condensation of mesenchyme, a ligamentous condensation of mesenchyme known as gubernaculum is formed below the testes on each side. Here you can see the gubernaculum. This is a ligamentous condensation of mesenchyme. Now the superior end of the gubernaculum attaches to the lower pole of the testes here. Superior end of the gubernaculum is attached to the lower pole of the testes, while the inferior end grows caudally in the posterior abdominal wall and then around the pelvic brim to reach the inguinal region. Here it grows in caudomedial direction between the developing external and internal oblique muscles, thus creating a provisional inguinal canal. Finally, the inferior end of the gubernaculum attaches to the internal surface of the labioscrotal swelling, the future scrotum. The descent of testes, it occurs in two phases. Now first phase, or the intra-abdominal phase or trans-abdominal phase, it occurs between the 8th and 12th week of development. So the testes descend in the abdomen, inside the abdominal cavity. Descent of testes occur at the end of this. Now at the end of this first phase, the testes come to lie in the vicinity of the deep inguinal ring. Now this early downward movement of the testes is thought to result from shortening of the gubernaculum. As each gubernaculum shortens, its extra-abdominal portion, it becomes gradually thicker. This one, extra-abdominal portion, it gradually becomes thicker. This thickening serves the additional purpose of enlarging the inguinal canal. The testes remain in the vicinity of deep inguinal ring for about 3 months. At the second phase of descent of testes, it occurs after 12 weeks, and the testes pass through the inguinal canal during the 8th month, so it occurs in the 7th month. The second phase of descent of the testes, it begins in the 7th month. The testes passes through the inguinal canal. You can see here it is passing through the inguinal canal in the 8th month and come to rest in the scrotum in the 9th month. You can see here. Now this second phase of the testicular descent is the result of actual regression of the gubernaculum as a result of loss of mucoid extracellular matrix that forms major component of its substance. The migration of testes through the inguinal canal is also aided by the increased intra-abdominal pressure produced by the rapidly growing abdominal organs. And The process is also influenced by testosterone and other androgens produced by the interstitial cells of the developing testes. So the second phase is influenced by three factors, that is the actual regression of the gubernaculum as a result of loss of mucoid extracellular matrix, and secondly, increased intra-abdominal pressure also pushes the testes outside, and third one is the influence of testosterone and other androgens produced by the interstitial cells of the developing testes. The action of anti-Mullerian hormone produced by the Sertoli cells seem to be important for the second phase of testicular descent. The gubernaculum persists as a tiny band of fibrous tissue attaching the inferior pole of the kidney to the scrotum in the neonate. Here you can see. Now during the 6th month, an evagination called of the peritoneum. Here you can see this is the peritoneum, this is the developing testes. Now in front of the developing testes, an evagination of the peritoneum called as the processus vaginalis develops ventral to the gubernaculum and herniates into the scrotum through the path formed by the gubernaculum. Here you can see it is herniating into the path formed by the gubernaculum. So it will pass from the inguinal canal and then into the scrotum. The testes descend through the inguinal canal posterior to the processus vaginalis. You can see here this is lying posteriorly, and finally when the testes reaches the scrotum, it lies posterior to the distal part of the processus vaginalis and bulges forward into its cavity. Here you can see the processus vaginalis and testes lying posteriorly, and the testes bulges forward in its cavity. The connection between the peritoneal cavity and the expanded lower end of the process becomes obliterated just before or shortly after birth. You can see the obliteration of the stalk of the this processus vaginalis. The lower portion of process persists as an isolated peritoneal sac known as tunica vaginalis, which consists of visceral and parietal layer. The visceral layer of tunica vaginalis is applied closely to the anterior and lateral surfaces of the testes, whereas the remainder of the peritoneal sac that covers the internal surface of the scrotum constitutes the parietal layer of the tunica vaginalis. The lumen of the tunica vaginalis is normally collapsed, but under pathological conditions it may become filled with fluid, forming the testicular hydrocele. Now, as the testes descend and the ductus deferens descend, they become ensheathed by facial extensions of the anterior abdominal wall. The extension of fascia transversalis fascia becomes the internal spermatic fascia. Extension of the internal oblique muscle becomes the cremasteric fascia, and cremasteric muscle and cremasteric fascia. An extension of the aponeurosis of the external oblique muscle, it constitutes the external spermatic fascia. Now ductus deferens, blood vessels, lymphatic vessels of testes are carried down into the scrotum along the testes. They are embedded in the connective tissue and constitute the spermatic cord. Owing to the path taken by the testes during the descent, the ductus deferens loops over the ureter. As the testes migrate inferiorly, testicular lymphatic and blood vessels grow actively to enable the testes to descend into the scrotum. However, these vessels retain their initial origin and terminations high up on the posterior abdominal wall. Consequently, adult testicular arteries, they arise from the abdominal aorta. The right testicular vein drains into inferior vena cava, the left testicular vein drains into the left renal vein, and the testicular lymphatics, they drain into the para-aortic lymph nodes. Now, if one or both testes fail to descend into the scrotum, the condition is called cryptorchidism or undescended testes. In the full-term male neonates, the incidence of cryptorchidism is 3 to 4%, but understandably, this condition is much more frequently encountered in premature male babies. In majority of cases of the cryptorchidism, the testes descend into the scrotum within 3 to 5 months after birth. However, in a very small number of cases, less than 1%, one or both testes fail to reach the scrotum. The undescended testes may remain in the abdomen, but more commonly they are present in the inguinal canal. So you can see here their position. It can be intra-abdominal or in the inguinal canal or high scrotal position. This is the normal. Now, the undescended testes may remain in abdomen, but more commonly they are present in the inguinal canal. In most of the cases, the undescended testes can be brought into scrotum by surgical procedures. Early treatment of cryptorchidism is necessary because of if testes are allowed to remain in the abdominal location for a long period, they show histological abnormalities, and normal spermatogenesis is not possible. Also, an abnormally located testes is more likely to develop malignant tumors than the normal testes. Now, ectopic testes, this is a rare abnormality in which the testes descend to an abnormal location which is outside the normal route of the descent, that is the pubic region, thigh or the perineum. So, the factors responsible for production of this anomaly are unclear. It has been suggested that a part of the vernaculum passes to an abnormal location and the testes follows it. Like the undescended testes, an ectopic testes also fails to produce spermatozoa and has an increased risk to develop the cancer. Now you can see here, it can be in pelvic, it can be in the thigh or in the perineum. Now, hydrocele or congenital hydrocele, sometimes the closure and obliteration of the processus vaginalis does not occur completely, and therefore a narrow communication remains between the peritoneal cavity and the tunica vaginalis. You can see in this diagram, you can see there is a communication between the peritoneal cavity and the processus cavity of processus vaginalis. The condition is too small to allow the herniation of intestinal loops, but the peritoneal fluid passes into the tunica vaginalis and produces congenital hydrocele of the testes. Rarely, a small portion of middle part of the processus vaginalis fail to obliterate and retains one or more cystic cavities. Such cysts may secrete fluid and become enlarged to form hydrocele of the spermatic cord. These conditions can be treated surgically. Development of the prostate gland and the seminal vesicle. During the 11th week of development, the endodermal epithelium of the prostatic urethra gives rise to multiple outgrowths and which are located proximal as well as distal to the opening of the ejaculatory duct. These outgrowths become canalized to form the tubules and alveoli of the prostatic gland. The surrounding mesenchyme differentiates into smooth muscles and the connective tissue to form the fibromuscular stroma and capsule of the prostate gland. Now, seminal vesicle, it sprouts from the distal mesonephric duct in response to testosterone. Now, here you can see that it is arising from the prostatic urethra, the prostate gland. It is endodermal in origin, while the seminal vesicle is mesodermal in origin.